into our conversation aspect of
Okay.
this. I love what you said, Connie, because it is for me as well. It has actually been a blessing in a lot of ways. I mean, I see the, the difficulty of it and the challenge. It has been financially challenging. I had to close John's Place, which is my fair trade market in honor of my beloved son here. And so there's been some things, but I have it very similar to you is slowing down, going more inward, staying home more has been a major blessing. I had a lot of live events like you were doing a lot, hosting a lot of live. It takes a tremendous amount it took a lot out of me. Doing events took a lot, and there wasn't a super amount of benefit. They were fundraisers, and I usually didn't raise too much money. So it was like a lot of work for a little bit of effort. And shutting those down, even shutting down the cafe, John's Place, the market and cafe, and bringing that energy more into myself. And similar to what you says, what is it that I want to do? What is it that nurtures me? So that's been, now I'm getting that opportunity to really find out what nurtures me and slow down, not have to be out in the world, be more inward into my own heart, my own space, fill up my cup, do things from home. I love doing it from home. Everyone I've talked to that's working at home, I haven't heard one person that say they don't like it. Everyone's like, I love it. I love getting my jammies.
I love it. I wasn't home 5 minutes a week before the pandemic. I said to Rachel the other day, remember when we didn't get out of bed for a month? That was the best. Because there's no conspiracy. See, there's a conspiracy out there. You got to be going, doing. Well, nobody can throw that conspiracy at you because you can't go, do. So you get the freedom to choose. I'm never going back to an office again, ever. I'm not.
Either. I love this. I love working at home. I love it's easy. It's easier. It nourishes me more. I'm really loving it. I know a lot of other people that really enjoy it. It's nice I take walks with friends. There's things I do to keep some social. But it's a time on the planet, a yin time, an inward time for everybody, and everyone's going in. And I think it's a time where we can actually really go inside and go deeper into our own being and connect and go into those roots and that root system of our soul, our connection to our God, our higher power, and let that kind of come up through the ground and into our being, rather than being so distracted and out there and really depleting ourselves.
Yes. And I used to say to God, I'm on the run, but I'll get to you. Now it's like my basis for everything. Because you stop, you kind of like, I think I'll paint the house or I'll sew some clothes, and then you realize, okay, I'm out of time. I really need to get my relationship with God going, because that's the most important. And it really is. It really is. Yeah. There's so many things so many of us wouldn't have gotten through did we not know that.
Absolutely is the most important. My son would say the categorical imperative, most important.
I love that. I wish I could have met him.
Oh, I'll send you a video of him. It's on our top of our website, oneworldstudio.com.
Okay.
There's a little video of him. He speaks in it a little bit. And I know he's already met you and he loves you. Yes. Yeah. And that is our categorical imperative, is that connection to the God of our understanding, our higher power. Everyone has maybe a different name or a way of expressing it. And but I think that is one of the blessings, like, we were talking about the blessings of the pandemic, is I believe a lot of people are connecting to the God of their understanding, their source, their creator, however the names they use. And that's the inward part, when we're connecting to our soul is one with God, and I think that this is going to affect the whole planet ultimately in a very positive way.
I agree. I think after we get through this long, dark tunnel, we're going to come out to a really great place, a really better than we've ever lived. But the question is, what's my motivation? I ask God that every day. Just lead my motivation. Don't let it be selfish. I'm reading this book. Remember, it was to be a go-getter. This book's called Be a Go-Giver.
Mm.
Yeah, and I love it. And I think a lot of things that were like philosophically God and spirit and all that came to land as real things as this pandemic hit, real tangible things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not just this, thing out there that we can't touch or feel or understand, but now it's really working in our lives, and we're all connecting deeper to this aspect. And sadly, with humanity, there are times when one thing that has confused me is a lot of times when we go through struggles, we do reach for God. And the other thing is when the world goes through struggles, we come together. And that's the one thing that I've been a little sad about in this pandemic. I had like 9/11, we all came together so strong, even other countries. And with the pandemic, seems like there's been more separation, and that makes me a little sad.
It brought out the worst in the American people. Me, I got to get all the toilet paper. I got to get all the soap. And we have a leadership that is very divisive, and that's his modus operandi, separate the people. And so people are just following what's been shown to them, but not everybody. Some of us are saying, how can I help you? What do you need? Staying with our friends. I make more outward just how are you phone calls than I've made in years.
Yeah.
And I think too, everyone has had a tragedy. Everyone has had a very sad tragedy. And we can now understand more how those people feel and how we can be there for them. Because it's just not happening over here and over here. It's happening in all of our homes with all of our friends or family in some way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, with my loss of my son at 25, that was 3 years ago. It's been an absolutely devastating loss for me. The first 2.5 years, I don't even think I was here.
I imagine.
It was hard to do even the smallest thing. I didn't open mail for 2 years. It just made me nauseous. Everything made me nauseous. I'm coming back. He actually, one of my inspirations for starting this Grace on Fire back up again is he and my son-in-law they did the filming, and my daughter did the editing and the scheduling. And it was something, and he was my first conversation, my first guest. So I'm doing it as a continuation of something that he and I did together, and I'm starting to come back. So I'm grateful to continue this back again. But we all have tragedies, and in losing my son, which was the most tragic thing that has ever happened to me. I mean, I would even say, I could I could get by if anyone in my life died but my children. There's just no way. Don't take my babies. Do not take my babies.
There's no reconciling that.
Don't take my babies. And I'll never be the same. Hopefully, eventually, there'll be a better version of me that evolves. And I'm grateful to be forwarding his global movement for peace, his One World Humanity, and channeling his messages and doing the Grace on Fire and trying to do my contribution to humanity. But it's when we have these tragedies. I was a hospice volunteer, and I used to visit elderly people, and everyone had, challenges and triumphs in their life. But I noticed something really powerful in visiting these, people that were dying, and most of them were very elderly. They either became bitter older people and let all those tragedies make them bitter, or they became just softer and open and loving, and they had just as many tragedies. And talking to them, they had just as many hardships, but they got to choose. Am I going to let life close me down and make me hard and bitter? Or am I going to let life open me up and make me a better channel for God, for the universe, you know, for the world? What's my choice? And it was a wake-up call for me. It was just a beautiful just understanding of, I remember saying to myself, I'm going to be one of those older people that no matter what happens in my life, whatever tragedies, I'm going to allow that to open me up and make me a more loving and more expansive person on the planet, rather than be one of those grouchy, cranky, bitter people.
And all the other dwarves. But you know what? You're of service to people too. You use that as of service to others, and that's the highest good. You know, you can really feel that your son's around you.
Oh yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
thank
you
you,
can really feel him
thank you,
strong.
Connie.
Yeah, you can.
Always, always. He is always,
Mhm.
never leaves me, never leaves me. Thank you for noticing that.
Yeah, you can really feel it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, nobody gets out of life alive, and nobody gets out without their share. You know, you always think, I go, oh, that poor person. Then something happens, you go, I can't believe this is happening. But, you know, everyone gets it. And I think this is the whole journey. How do we learn to get through life with ease, grace, and dignity, come what may? And I think the pandemic has been the biggest lesson of, oh, I'm not in control. Oh, okay. I'm not in control. That, you know, really, it's been a wake up for a lot of people. And people who think they are in control are still kicking and screaming, you know? And I'm like, how's that working for you? You know, you still can't get on a plane and go to Paris. So calm down.
Yeah.
Entitlement's a tough thing to get over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's acceptance. It's acceptance. And
It's
I have
huge.
committed, I like just before the pandemic, as I had mentioned, my mom passed in March, and it was an extremely painful, very hard situation. There was a lot of details. And then the pandemic happened right after that. And when I came home after being with her and the situation and the circumstances, I, I just committed. I just said, I am not going to go into fear.
Right.
I am not going to allow, I mean, I've just been through hell. It felt like,
Right.
and I am going to see the good. I'm going to commit to peace. My son created a global movement for peace. So I says, I would be a strong hypocrite if I'm going to forward his one world humanity, you know, global movement for peace, and be in conflict and lack of peace myself. I just committed. He tells me all the time, peace is always a choice. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. It does not matter. It is always a choice. It is always a choice. And that choice is always, peace is always there. It's always, always available, regardless of the circumstances. And that was just my choice, to choose peace, regardless. I couldn't go to Costa Rica to do our annual project. Well, there's other things to do. We can go next year. Things like that.
By the way, people don't understand that takes a discipline. As much as it takes a discipline to learn a new language or learn to work out or learn a new job, it's people think you just go, oh, I choose peace. No, it's work, but you choose it. And when you choose it, the work brings you wonderful dividends. It's not easy. We go, I choose peace, but it looks like, oh, I choose peace, you know?
And I cannot say that I'm in peace 100% of the time.
Right.
What I choose is when I feel myself going into less than deep peace, I do my practices. I do my breath work. The biggest thing I do, because after my son passed, I had intense dread, anxiety, panic, almost all day, every day. And the one thing that got me through it was gratitude. Chanting, thank you, thank you. Sometimes I just lay in bed with such intense dread and anxiety and panic, and I just wouldn't get out of bed until I chanted it for an hour some mornings. Just thank you, God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And that chanting of that thank you would at some point, and now when my anxiety still comes up for me, it's sometimes it very much less often, you know, maybe once or twice a week, I'll just get a little, used to be all the time after he passed. And I just go, thank you, thank you. Within like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whoop, back to peace.
Yeah. And the object's not to stay there all the time, because that's not realistic. It's just knowing how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you listen to Abraham Hicks?
I have listened to one CD of Abraham Hicks a long time ago, and I have friends that listen to Abraham Hicks. And right now, I am with channeling my son. I am not. I don't actually own a TV. I don't do YouTube, so I'm kind of disconnecting from the world. But I'm doing it because I want to just. Well, first of all, it sucks up a lot of time, and that time I want to be channeling my son and connecting with him and feeling his presence, and just whether it's channeling or talking to him or feeling his presence.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just choosing at this time to unplug a bit. But I have heard the best things about her and her channeling, and I know I will be plugging into that at some point, and it will benefit.
And here's the great thing too. She started taking the seminar she does. It's on YouTube, a little 10-minute bite. I go past the people that ask questions because they bug me sometimes, you know. Trying to talk all spiritual, just get to it. But I'll get up there. She'll do 5, 7, 8-minute things. And if I'm having a particularly difficult day, and I'll go, oh yeah, you know, but when you're ready, for you, when you're ready. Right now, you're very busy with the other side and your son.
Yes,
Takes
I do a lot of meditation. I have a yoga school, which I'm working on getting that curriculum online. It's ecstatic yoga. You can go to ecstaticyoga.studio and check it out.
Okay.
And I'm channeling my son. That's my primary thing, is channeling his messages every day. Every day. It's the first thing I do.
Awesome. It's awesome. You're so connected. You know, you and he.
Well, he's my twin flame, for certain, for absolute certain. He is my twin flame. And I told my son that I told both my children, I have a daughter as well, and I told both my children since they were about 3 years old, 4 years old, and I don't know why. I have no idea why I would say such a thing, but now I guess it was all synchronistically orchestrated. But I used to tell them, because I've always grown up, I never grew up in a particular religion, but I spent my childhood in nature, and I heard my guides when I was little. My angels would talk to me, and I just knew for some reason that we were all eternal spirit, every single one of us, equal sons and daughters of the universe and God. And I used to tell my children, you don't need to grieve me when I die, because we're all infinite spirit. I will still exist. I'll be your guardian angel. I'll be with you all the time. I'll be the music on the radio. I'll be the birds chirping. I'll be the wind. I'll be everything. And of course, you know, he wasn't supposed to go before me in my mind. Of course, he tells me that was our plan as souls. And I was a liar. I was a liar, because when I said you don't need to grieve me, I have grieved my son's loss. I know he exists. I know he's eternal spirit, but I miss that physical body, even knowing that. I miss his physical body deeply every minute of every day, but I know he is my guardian angel now. I know he exists, and he is everything that I told him he would be for me.
That's so great. That's a great place to be with that. Really. That's great. I believe that too. I really, truly do. I believe it too. And it makes there's something very comforting about when people pass on and you know they're with you, you know, and then you can start communicating with them. And, you know, I have all kinds of that stuff going on, but I go, oh, hi, Mom. Yeah. I had a cat pass that My husband and I just love, love, love. And it was sudden. And my
Mm.
girlfriend Lorna said, "Oh, don't worry, he's going to be around, and he's already telling stories up there, smoking cigars about, oh, my family was so fun." And the other day I had a dream he was walking right up at the middle of the bed because that's what he used to do: look at you and walk, and then lay on the pillow, clear as day.
I would say it was more than a dream. It was a visit.
Yes, it was my Tucci.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Our love for animals, when we lose animals, that is extremely hard because I've got my animals and my son left me a cat, Xander, who
Xander.
Xander.
We have a neighbor named Xander. He likes to come out and go rub me.
His name, John named him actually Alexander the Great,
Oh,
but I call him Xander for short
yeah.
because that's
We have,
kind of a long name.
we have a Xander, and then this little gray kitten the other day came to the back door. We let her in, just a little mitten.
Oh,
She went up to Benny, my dog. They touch noses, and my cat. My pets have all had other pets, so they're very. And then she kind of like explored the whole house, and then she heard the kids come home, and she ran to the door, and I let her out. So my husband said to the guy the other day, he goes, "That's our cat." Reggie goes, "Really?" Because he's been all over our house. The guy goes, "What?" He goes, "Oh yeah." Comes in, goes in the studio, checks things out. He found a toy under the couch, and then he leaves.
oh, how beautiful. He
I
came
love
to
pets.
you.
I love them. I just love them.
Animals are so easy to love. They're so unconditionally loving. If we could learn a lot from the animals, the humans.
I've rescued every one of them for years. Yeah,
Mm.
I love them all, but I'm told I can't bring them all home, but I try.
Need to get you a little animal farm. That's one of John's things in his sanctuaries is to have an animal sanctuary, and I will create that.
I'd love to have a house so that I could have a few kitties, let them go in the backyard, have a few puppies, because they have rules about only 2 pets in an apartment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So one was undercover until he passed. He was in witness protection, Char. But yeah, I definitely have more pets.
Oh, yeah, I used to have 3 dogs for a long time. And a couple cats. I can't have enough pets around. I've got 4 chickens.
I know once you get one, you go, well, I already have 1 litter and food. 2's not bad. I mean, what's it gonna, I know.
A
Yeah.
great source of love
Mm-hmm.
and
Sure.
comfort,
Mm-hmm.
companionship.
Mm-hmm. And when you're sick, they're great pals. They'll lay with you all day.
It's amazing how they know that. And I believe they're healing. When
I
they
do
lay
too.
there, they're sending their healing energy. How do they know? They just lay there and they just send their love. And I believe they're just sending love and healing energy.
I believe that too.
Well, I think it's been such a joy
I know, me too.
chatting with you, Connie. I hope to do it again
Me
sometime. It's
too.
beautiful, beautiful. It's just so to meet you and your vibrancy, your radiance, your beautiful heart, your wisdom. Wow.